to another episode of The Man Space, where my co-host Marquise and I invite you to join us into a safe place and space where we discuss issues, topics, and ideas that are going to help men move forward, structure a meaningful life, and truly embrace a meaningful place for themselves in this world. The world is changing, the world is shifting. And what used to define success for men is evolving. And in 2026, the new success KPI is peace. Whether we realize it or not, your inner peace, your ability to channel that inner peace to show up in calmness, to be present, to make the right choices, and know that peace is not passivity.
No.
Peace is knowing what matters and holding on to what matters and living it meaningfully, mindfully, and not letting the noise from the outside world consume you, but allow your peace to show up in a way that you channel your life. That is the new man code for 2026. What are your thoughts on that, Marquise?
First of all, I think it's phenomenal. Uh, I have an initial thought I want to share. This is not a blame. This is a stake in the ground. Generally speaking, in the positive context, women are more in tune with their emotions. That's part of living, and we do well to learn from them, to tap into our emotions, because that's part of being human. We are not cold, decisive individuals who then provide, and die. That's not what we were designed. We both are masculine and are feminine. However, it's interesting. I'll start with a quick story about myself. My mother tends to be very passionate. She had a tough upbringing, which totally makes sense. I remember a friend, a very close friend, said to me one day, you can be really difficult to talk to. Things are hard. And I thought to myself, are you kidding me? What are you talking about? They're like, yeah. And I said, but we talk about everything. They said, yeah, but when it's difficult, I don't feel safe. I was like, oh, I was like, it's like literally shocked until one day I was having a conversation with my brother, and we were talking about something, and we started to have different opinions. It wasn't heated, but it was tense. And I remember wanting to say something two or three times, and there was no room in his conversation for me to say what I wanted to say. So I yielded, I surrendered, and I listened. And Dr. Katz, I listened for about 20 to 25 minutes without a break. And it dawned on me, oh my God, this is what my friend was talking about, because this is how I get when I think I'm right about something. I didn't allow room. And I realized at that time, I had a need to be right. And when I had a need to be right, I would defend it to no end. And I learned that my mother, who has began her own beautiful evolution, by the way, kudos to you, mom, if you watch this. So proud of you. And I've already told you that. But when she was younger, because of so much turmoil, it was always heated. And I had adopted that lifestyle. Notice I didn't blame her. I adopted that as a response. Like, oh, no, I got to be right. I didn't use that phrase, but that's essentially what was happening. As I listened to my brother, I didn't blame my brother. All of a sudden, I saw myself, and I realized it was a choice. It was a choice to surrender my ego or the need to be right so that I can be in relationship. And at that point, I realized my father, who is more of a calm man, at least in his latter years, he's much more of a calm man, that he does it by choice. And what I learned in that moment was if I'm always responding to my emotions, then I am not calm, nor am I in control. But while it wasn't my fault, it was my responsibility to take on a new version of myself. Matter of fact, check out our one of our more recent episodes around reinventing the necessity of it. But in that moment, I realized I could continue to go down the path I was going, just respond, react, 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 or I could learn to build my calm. And for years, I admired my father. I admired men who knew how to control their calm. And Dr. Cass, that probably happened 5 years, 4 or 5 years ago. And I've been on this evolution of calm ever since. Because if I only respond from what I feel, particularly if it's not well thought, then I realized I do more damage than I ever imagined. And even the people who were close to me as that friend, I didn't realize there was such a gap. So of course they couldn't come to me because I wasn't safe.
And I've
And
known you through that whole period.
yeah,
And we've built a relationship, almost not just a friendship, right? It's a brother sister relationship. And we've built it through all of this. We're both evolving,
yeah,
right? We're both finding our place of peace. For me, I've always taken the position that my goal in life is to be in my place of peace, in my
so
state of grace.
that's so good.
To me, the peace and the grace go hand in hand, so that I have grace for myself and grace for everybody around me,
Yeah,
because we're all, in the end, flawed humans who are
right,
feeling creatures with the capacity to think and act. But a
right,
whole half of us, the men among us, are
right,
taught not to feel. So while
right,
they're feeling creatures who think and act, believe that feeling is wrong, so they're thinking and acting without feeling. And that feeling comes out as reaction
yeah,
instead of thought out, processed,
right,
peaceful action.
yes,
And
yeah,
so our goal here is to help our brothers, our fathers, our sons,
that's
our
right.
uncles, right? Our grandpas. Take a step back and feel. It's okay to feel,
Yeah,
because you are human too.
yeah. And in doing so, you create space. One of the questions when I talk to men and I'm coaching them is, what do you feel? Excuse me. Number one, your feelings aren't necessarily right. They're just feelings. They're indicators of something deeper. So take time, feel it. Then instead of reacting or responding, ask yourself, what am I feeling and why am I feeling it? Sometimes it can be so simple as you haven't had a good night's sleep in 2 weeks working overtime. Sometimes it can be related to a poor diet, but they're all indicators for you to go within. So today we want to offer you a few things to help you measure and build your inner calm, or the ability to respond and not react. Because as men, here's a description that I gave someone I love very much. A woman is like the ocean, beautiful, amazing, yet powerful, and will take you under if you're not careful. But the beauty behind all of the ocean is that it provides life, it provides enjoyment, it provides vision. It's amazing. And sometimes the tide will go out, but it always comes back in. As men, we need to be the shore. It never moves. It's right there waiting. It's that level of calm. That doesn't mean we don't have reaction. Oh, believe me, there is a time for reaction. I'm a man's man. But that's not the majority of the time. That's probably not 9 out of 10 times either. So our ability to exercise calm and level set is one of our greatest natural strengths. So here are 3 ways that you can build and measure your own particular calm. The first one is the space between the stimulus, something happening, and your response. Are you quick triggered? And if so, why are you quick triggered? What are the things that cause you to be that way? When a crisis hits or a setback comes about, how do you respond? How long before you react? Training yourself to breathe, to pause, to think gives you the capacity to make wiser choices, wiser decisions. Because many times things are not as they seem. They're just a reflection of something we feared from before. And so we collude or combine all of them at one time, and we lose a sense of reality and or our strength within the moment to be able to guide it the right way and or help bring peace to it. So your awareness of how fast you respond to something is an indicator. Ways to practice it, as I said, taking more pauses, daily practicing breath work. It doesn't have to be anything extravagant. It's just teaching yourself to calm down and breathe so you can see more clearly. Because one thing's for certain, if we're constantly reacting, we're certainly not seeing. The second thing, the clarity of decision making under load. When things are heavy and you need to make a choice in a decision, I just alluded to that already. If you're immediately reacting, you can't respond. You'll just react to whatever you feel in the moment. There's an acronym, Doc, that I love to use. It's called HALT, HALT, which means stop, halt. H is for hungry. If you find that you're really hungry, you haven't eaten, like you feel famished, maybe you had a great workout and you didn't hydrate properly, or you just haven't got your nutrients. Or the second letter, A, you're angry. Something's in your craws, they would say. Something's got you on the edge, and you're angry. You know what that feels like. Or maybe you're feeling lonely. You've been working so much you haven't had time to bond with your family or the people you love. Or you feel used, but that sense of loneliness is there. It's if I got to do everything myself. Or last but not least, the T is for tired. You feel exhausted. You haven't nurtured your spirit. You haven't rested properly. You haven't stretched your body. And so you're exhausted and tired. If you feel either of those four things, hungry, angry, lonely, or tired, my words to you are halt, stop. Do not make any major decisions until you solve whatever letter or situation you find yourself in. Because at that point, your neurological system is off. Your hormones are out of balance. You're likely going to make the wrong choice. That's another.
Absolutely. That's why we say when you're hungry, don't go grocery shopping. You'll buy all the things you don't need.
Yeah, exactly. You get home and go, what am I going to do with this? I bought cookies. I can't cook cookies, right? And then the last one, one way you can train yourself is set a 10-minute rule. For all non-critical decisions under fire, just step away for 10 minutes or 24 hours. Allow yourself the opportunity to breathe, to sleep, to think, to fuel. And when you wake up, you have a much better understanding of what you need to do. As a matter of fact, my old mentor, one of the things he would say to me is whenever he felt super stressed and he needed to make a big decision, he'd say, go to bed. He'd say, literally, go take a nap because you allow your spirit to rest. When you wake up, you have a better opportunity to choose wisely. The last step, or the last way to check your inner calm, is the steadiness of your energy output. Hmm. How much energy are you exploding or are you conserving? A reactive man automatically explodes. He burns a lot of energy. He's drama filled, inefficient spikes, a lot of anger, a lot of frantic action, a lot of anxiety, a lot of nervousness, putting demands on people that they don't deserve because he himself has not taken time to breathe and to relax. So manage that. Find out. How. Ask yourself, like in a chaotic day, am I emotionally bankrupt and scattered, or am I strategically tired and focused? Because being tired is a good thing if it's from strategic and you're productive. But being tired because you spent energy needlessly because you were in control just robs you. Doc, what are your thoughts on some of the things I've shared and or other things that you found in your coaching practice as you've even led men in business that helps them cultivate their calm? Oh, and Mike is a really good example of a man who tends to be calm too.
I'm married to a man who can do that, right? So, one of the first things I would caution all of us is look at where your energy is going when you're not calm versus you're calm. When you're not calm, your energy is expended in serving that emotion and that reaction. But when you're calm, you're channeling that energy towards the outcome you need to. So, channeling is a capacity you open up when you can stay in your place of peace. In my marriage, Mike and I have been married 28 years. We've been through the ups and downs of life. As some of you already know, we're going through a stage where my husband is terminally ill and medically at end of life. And we're going through storms, but we're going through that from our place of peace at our state of grace. And we do that intentionally because there are days he's not calm. I have to be his place of peace. There are days I feel like my heart is breaking, and he becomes my place of joy and laughter and peace, right? So we have a rule that don't show the we both don't show the halt feelings, the four things at the same time, because when one shows up that way, the other can calm,
Yeah.
like the tide and the ocean and the shore, right? So
Yeah.
we are able to flip our roles and be that for each other. And that creates that space. And even at work, I always say, when you are working in an environment, you're an entrepreneur, you're an executive, find a person of the opposite gender who can be your place of peace. And I intentionally say the opposite gender because the same gender doesn't have the capacity to show up differently.
Right.
We have to have the masculine and feminine energy, the ocean currents and the show side by side,
Yeah.
right?
That's
And
right.
it's only when the two come together there can be that calming.
Yeah.
And you can always find that person in your life, personally and professionally, maybe two different people, but
Yeah.
who can be your place of peace. And
Yeah.
if you invest in that, then that's always there to draw from.
Yeah.
And not finding that can become part of the drawback because we can't always recalibrate on our own. We need an external source to help
Right.
us recalibrate. If you know music and instruments, to tune your instrument, you need to have something else to tune it to.
That's correct.
Okay, this is basic physics. So when we are out of tune, we need to reach out to that person who's going to help us get ourselves back in tune.
Yeah. It's good. It's good. Thank you for that, Doc. This is the man space. This is the kind of stuff we talk about all the time. We're positioning you, giving you opportunity to move past your excuses, to go deeper than what you've known, so that you can unpack and explore the depth, the greatness, the impact, dare I say, connectedness, because you're not an island unto yourself, but the fulfillment that's available for all of us. We don't take these types of journeys with the right perspective. We derail far too. Doc, thank you for always having me on the show.
Always a pleasure, Marquise. And to our gentlemen out there, remember, peace is the new KPI,
Yeah,
and step up and deliver to it because your entire ability to reach your outcome and reinvent yourself is directly predicated in your ability to stay in your place of peace and leverage that calmness towards your journey.